going to be match 6 of this season. Night 3, match 6. We are looking at Stars up against Hydra, with Hydra having the home field advantage. Let me get these teams set. And that should be it, right? Yep. All right. So, looking at the team lineups here, we've got Stars with Mastrius, Maccus, Talik, and Zvixas. So, gonna get to see their assassin. Mastrius is a druid. So this is a pretty reasonable kind of bog standard-ish lineup from Stars. Very solid, hits all your bases really. You've got your big assassin and Zvixas. You've got your human/human-ish Scald in Maccus. You got your druid for curatives and healing and all that with Mastrius, and then you've got Talik as your DPS/flag carrier, along with Maccus and Mastrius. So really hitting all your core needs for an ACFL team. Like I said, if you were going to call something a generic team, that would be very close to the most generic team you're going to get. Which is not a knock. It's good for a reason. And the fact that people are now branching out is because you don't always have access to those things. So if you don't have access to those things, you need to experiment a bit. Hydra is hitting it up with Lei'raylat, Rav, Perrinn, and Theudoric, which is a very interesting team. Do I have... Okay, that alias is clearly not for the current lineup. So I'm curious who else they have. Let's just poke in here real quick. Okay, and we'll figure out who they got here. Obviously, it doesn't super matter, but it does kind of give you an idea of where their head's at in terms of the compositions to see who they have available to them. And who they pick. So this is definitely a more experimental comp out of Hydra. Lei'raylat as a Pixie Invoker, obviously not out of the norm. Invokers are common in ACFL. They do a lot of damage. Pixies in particular do an insane amount of damage at the cost of being a little squishier. We have Rav as the Warlock, Perrinn as an Armsman/Choker, and Theudoric is coming in with the AoE blinds and disruption as well, in terms of Confessors having a group break as well. So being a double group break comp is kind of interesting. But if you look at the lineup, it really doesn't have a ton of damage coming out aside from Lei'raylat. Perrinn can do damage, but not really to Talik. Human Scalds can be very, very defensive if he's in there on his own. So it'll be interesting to see if Hydra has the punch to really get through this. They don't really have any healing either. And what were their options? I guess they don't really have any healer available to them right now that I can see. Other than, Uryu with does have mass healing potentially if he took it. Slayers do have access to healing, and I would assume that he would have taken it. But it's hard to say for sure. So I think looking at these lineups, I feel like I feel like Stars has the edge here based on having a proven composition. But that said, Lei'raylat could just like go out there and nuke the crap out of the Stars team. The group breakers give Hydra some good opportunities if Perrinn can capitalize on them with chokes, kind of put the other team down and just kind of run the flag that way. Split them up, choke them. Lei could potentially AMS if group breaks and chokes come down to keep the other team split up, and then Lei'raylat can kind of hunt them down with AMS and chain while the rest of the team runs the flag. But I don't know if that's super realistic. It's definitely going to be hard to pull off. And here we go. So Rav Shadow forms coming out the gate. Talik getting out his anti-mage, but not drinking from it. And here comes the group breakers. It's gonna be Group Break City. Throwing the group breakers onto Zvixas to prevent him from using flash effectively. Theudoric throws out the AoE blind from the Confessor. So that's going to be really interesting to see how effective he gets to be without the Paladin support. Perrinn's putting out really good damage onto Maccus right now. Maccus is also on Perrinn in return, so they're kind of trading blows a bit. And everybody's just kind of duking it out in the middle of the field. Maccus trying to get a regroup going on. Rav takes a dirt kick, which should slow down his gourd tosses a little bit, but no, he immediately throws an earthquake onto Talik. So he's not going to get to pick and choose, but he's still going to put him out there. And Mastrius takes some candy cane damage out of that cone. But Lei is only hitting 2 people with the cone, and that's definitely not where you want to be. Even when you're doing good damage like that, cone is pretty mana inefficient when you're not hitting everybody. It's great because it puts out a lot of damage fast, not because it's particularly efficient necessarily in mana expenditure per damage done compared to the healing that can be done. Maccus gets shield broken, and if he doesn't notice and that goes unnoticed for a little while, Perrinn pulling out the flail, so he's ready to capitalize, get on him, get the damage done, and lock him down. Let's see if that happens, or if Maccus is able to realize he needs to find a new shield. Maccus taking another group breaker. More cones coming down from Lei'raylat. Big damage onto Talik. And Zvixas takes some big rounds right here. From his own team even. Right, Talik just beat him up a bit, right? Yes, he did. These group breakers are rough. Theudoric trying to AoE blind in the flag room or on the goal line. And more breakers coming down on his Zvixas. big cones coming out of Lei still. And Maccus goes to regroup in the corner. But I'm not sure his team has gotten the memo. Things look to be going fairly well for Hydra right now. But I'm curious how the lack of healing and staying power is going to affect them as the fight drags on. If they can't capitalize, they're going to run out of juice. Perrinn going with the lashes onto Talik. Would think you would want to... see, he's getting repo slash now. Would think you would want to use swords to cross kick. Cross kick is one of the stuns that gets around Blade Song. So I'm curious about the decision to stay in flail or stay in whips for that. He's certainly played Armsman a lot longer than I have. But I feel like this is probably just a not switching issue, more so than a conscious decision that whips are better suited. Maccus dips into red, but Talik is beating up on Perrinn now, and Perrinn is, at this rate, Perrinn is quickly going to die. Mastrius gets disarmed, and Lei takes a big chunk of damage, but still not being focused, it doesn't seem like. Perrinn takes a blind, and Theo does have curatives, I believe. Zvix mixes a strangle, but Talik now taking a lot of damage. And getting slowed. There we go. There's the AMS from Lei. Now that people are wounded, he's ready to go hunting. And this can be a dangerous position. When people start getting low and you have a healthy invoker that can AMS and just start chasing people down with chain, it's very, very frustrating to deal with when you're low health and you aren't able to really fight them. Perrinn pulling the flails back out, ready to entwine somebody. They want to go for the kill and try and push a capture, it looks like. Yep. Those chains are dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Lei has been playing this pretty well. Couple of cones that hit fewer people than they probably should. But overall, he's done a good job of kind of staying on the periphery and getting his good damage in when he can. Choke goes down onto Talik. So sits him down for a moment. Maccus goes down as well. And Zvixas chokes Rav in return. Ooh, Pixie Dust Sleep onto Zvixas. And who is Perrinn? Perrinn fails to entwine Mastrius. Mastrius very hurt now as well. So once again, we see Gord's just group breakers just being very disruptive, and Lei actually picks up the flag. I wonder if that means that he is out of mana and just needs to die, or he might just be making the calculus that the enemy team is too hurt to effectively fight him off if he just chains them when they walk in the room. It could just force them to wimpy constantly with chain. Perrinn's protecting him with choke. Maccus stands up and immediately goes back down. Perrinn is very good at his chokes. Hydra's really doing a good job here. Constantly underestimating kind of the power of the disruption. Maccus sits right back down. Man's been spending more time asleep than awake. The choke misses on Talik, but Talik is very injured, and Perrinn's just chunking him down. Again with the lash, but Maccus is finally back up and gets a rescue down. And immediately Perrinn sits him back down. Immediately. And goes back to town on Talik. Zvixas manages to strangle Leigh on the flag, the goal line. Or is that the, yeah. And Leigh wakes up and gets back over. Score 1 to Hydra. This actually puts Hydra in a really, really strong position. If they can, honestly, if they could all kind of like suicide right now, they'd be in a really strong position. But maybe Leigh just figures he's still good enough to just keep running the flag. Maccus goes straight back down. Zvixas misses a strangle onto Lei'raylat. That pixie dex can make it pretty obnoxious sometimes. Similar to Kinder, sometimes you just can't make the dex check against them on the chokes. Perrinn is taking damage again, though. Mastrius is dealing good damage to him with Bugle. And with no healing, he's got to go down sometime. At some point, he's just going to turn into a choke bot when he doesn't have health to do anything else. Talik gets pixie slapped now. Man. Pixie dust OP. So, Perrinn taking damage again. Talik's gotten onto him now. Leigh is almost back to the flag room with the second capture. He's on the goal line. He's just a rescue away, and Stars has not made any attempt to... There we go. There's second capture, and Stars makes no attempt to counter cap. Wow, this is really, really good on Hydra. They're looking in a commanding position. Now, if they force this cap, even if they die, they just come out all refreshed. Clean up. Leigh's finally taking good damage. Explosion goes on to Maccus. Rav picks up the flag this time. So Leigh doesn't have the flag. He doesn't need to be taking all this damage. He needs to flee out if he's not out of mana and ready to die. Mastrius finally countercaps. But this is questionable. Zvixas gets a choke off onto Theudoric. So the Confessor goes down. Talik's just trying to finish Perrinn off with the Acid Blast. And he's going to get there eventually. Perrinn is wimpying. but I don't know that it matters. I think at this point, anybody on Hydra that goes down is just going to be back up and ready to mess up stars before they're able to capture all 3 flags. I think Hydra should be probably trying to force the fight here before Mastrius can make his way across the field, though. Talik bounces off of the Pixie. Bash is terrible. Let's see what we got. Oh, he does manage to stun him now. And Lei is still AMS, so Talik's doing big damage with no Sanctuary. Mastrius gets shield broken there. Let's see if he notices. This looks like he's taking an awful lot of damage. I didn't notice him wearing another shield. Talik spamming Acid Blast at Lei'raylat, and that is not going to work. Acid Blast on Theudoric is, however, doing a lot of damage. Is Theo not sanked? He's taking maims? He doesn't look sanked. But Mastrius goes down, and Hydra gets the 3-0. That is good shit right there. Definitely a strong showing out of Hydra with an unconventional lineup for sure. So props to them. I think that just shows some a lack of coordination over on the Stars' part. They definitely had a lot of trouble dealing with the group breakers and picking a target and staying on it. I think with Hydra not having any real healing, it shouldn't have been too hard to pick a target, focus it, and take it off the field. But they just were never able to focus the damage. The damage was always spread out, and really that's just not going to cut it. Great showing from Hydra, though. I think they did an excellent job. Yeah, Perrinn's chokes are always good. He's been playing in ACFL for a long time. He's been playing that character for a long time. He's generally very good at his what he does, and when he fails, I feel like it's usually not because of a failure of execution on his part. It's usually just because his limitations of his combo not lining up well into what the enemy team is doing. I think double choke comps aren't as prevalent anymore, but I still feel like they're pretty powerful if you're able to capitalize on them. But you have to have the coordination to choke the opponent, keep them choked, and move the flag across. It's a good set of matches, though. I quite enjoyed that. All right. I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Remember, this was a moved match from Sunday due to the holiday, so we will have another set of matches tomorrow night. And I will pull up the schedule. That's going to be Card Sharks at Stars to open up the night, and then we're going to have Goliath at Hellhounds to close it out. Should be some interesting matches, so make sure you guys turn in. Be with you then. Thanks for watching.